My hardcore world is lacking in a few areas, to say the least. But instead of upgrading just those builds, I decided to go on a journey to every single build I've created in this world and upgrade all of them. Let's get started. So, on my giant list of things to upgrade, our first one involves adding some detailed pathways to connect our main villages and builds together. Here's an extremely high quality sketch of my idea. So yeah, with that done, let's get started. So first up, I linked up my current base to my old base and the other entrance to our main village here. I also planted a bunch of trees along the path too, and added some lanterns and big lampposts as well. Next, I continued this path all the way down to our fishing village over here. And then I finally connected this pathway up to the entrance of the village. Next up, I linked this new pathway up over to our farming village as well. And as for some of the details along the path, we have this simple little bench design. Then, keeping it simple, I also made a barrel pile. Next, it was onto a bit of a wagon design, as if someone had left it abandoned alongside the path or something like that. And finally, I added this small pond design just outside my main base too. Now with all of our pathways finally done, our area is looking so much better. Everything is connected and it's actually looking like a proper village. This was definitely well overdue, so I'm very glad we finally got this done. For those of you that are interested in downloading and exploring my builds, every single one I'll be upgrading in this video is available to download right now on my Patreon. Alright, back to the video. You probably know by now that the way I've been getting gunpowder for fireworks is by flying into the big cave and slaughtering creepers, and almost dying to them too, but we don't talk about that. So, it's time to make a creeper farm. Once we arrived at a spot I liked in the ocean, I started building the collection platform, which just consists of a bunch of hoppers and some double chests. Next, I went on to creating the creeper collection area, which consists of some open fence gates here to stop the water that I then also placed down. The water being, of course, to push the creepers down into the hopper area. Once that was done, I built the area that'll hold the snow golems, and we need them to attract the creepers down into the holes here. I also added some open trapdoors along those holes so that the creepers think those are full blocks. Then I, of course, created all of the golems, 8 in total, and punched them into their positions. And with all of the technical stuff now done, it's time to create the spawning platform. Next, I created a giant pillar to AFK on so that the creepers only spawn in our farm. And once that was done, I let the farm run for about 30 minutes to see how much gunpowder we'd get. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes, let's jump down and check out how much we got. Alright, at least we know it's working, it's going good. Let's check the chests. Chest number 1, holy crap. Okay, we've got 2 stacks and 14. Oh my god, I did not expect that much. Holy crap. And the last chest, okay, not as many, that's okay. Dude, that is a lot. I'm gonna quickly calculate how much this is real quick. Alright, so that right there is 716 gunpowder, if my calculations are correct. That is honestly amazing. I'm so glad we never have to worry about fireworks again and like literally almost dying to creepers. And yeah, so now with the creeper farm all done, let's head back home and get started on the next upgrade. I don't remember the way home. God, all this upgrading is making your boy hungry. I think it's time for a healthy and balanced dinner. Alright gamers, here we are in my kitchen with all of the needed ingredients here to make a fully balanced Australian dinner, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and grab out some of our bread here. We're going to chuck those into the toaster. One's gonna have Vegemite, cheesy Vegemite specifically, and we're gonna put some cheese on that bad boy too. And then the other piece is gonna have avocado and egg and cheese. So yeah, let's cut up a few slices of cheese. Okay, there we go. You always gotta cut off a piece for yourself. It's so good. Okay, the egg is coming along nicely. Check that out. Oh. Okay, so there's the butter. It's definitely a generous amount of butter. Okay, that's the way I like it. Shut up. Now we're going to apply the good old cheesy Vegemite, because this, honestly, I'm sorry, but this is bussin', literally. Now we're going to chuck our cheese pieces onto that bad boy, making sure to choose the thickest pieces because we're going to be melting this in the grill. Now it's time to butter the next piece of toast. Once again, a generous heaping of avocado here. I'm also going to apply our cheese slices to this. And now it's time to apply our egg to said toast. I'm looking through the camera, so that made that really difficult. Trust me, I'm way more coordinated, I swear. There we go. There's our first piece. Well, it's not done yet. We got to get the salt. Yes! And some pepper. Yeah, I can't do this with one hand, so yeah. Get some ASMR sounds. So there's our first piece done. You got to take a complimentary bite, of course. I might put too much pepper on that. It's pretty good though. Now we just have to wait for our last piece that's in the grill, okay? Give me a second. Also, don't forget to turn the hot plate off, okay? I've done that before, maybe more than once. Oh, and by golly gee, mate, check that bad boy out. We're gonna slide that straight onto the plate. Now, I'm gonna go take this to the room and absolutely devour this, and we'll get straight back into some upgrading. Just give me a second. Now that we're all full and ready to continue gaming, let's move on to upgrading our main village here. It's the first one we built in this world, and it definitely needs a bit of love. Let's get started. Now, the first thing I thought we should add is some more trees because there really aren't many in this village. There's only some around the big cave entrance in the middle. Then I went on to adding some more details around the place, like some of these wagon designs. They're a great decoration for any sort of medieval village, and I felt they would fit right in. Next up, we of course need more houses. There's quite a few gaps around the place, especially up here near the nether portal, so I added a few of these smaller house designs here. Then I found a great spot for a bit of a longer house, so I began adding one in right here. I then went around and added a bunch more smaller houses around in some spots I could, and finished up with an L-shaped one back near the nether portal. And so with all those upgrades done, this village is looking so much better. Now onto the next thing I want to upgrade, which is actually over this way, that being our 2 iron golem starter farms. Now, I'm not really talking about upgrading the efficiency of these. I mean, I've got enough iron to last a bloody lifetime across these two. So I mainly want to improve the looks of this and just add a nice little cover over this, and I'll also chip away at some of the land here to hopefully stop these guys from spawning out here as well. First off, I started removing a whole bunch of this land around here to hopefully increase the spawn rate, and then I started adding in this nice cover consisting of some spruce wood and some glass as well. And then I of course just repeated that same design over on the other farm, and then I just removed a whole bunch more dirt around this one too. Oh, I'm so glad we finally got this done. I've been meaning to do this for quite a long time now, and I'm very glad that we finally have a nice little cover over these. Hell yeah. Next, let's head on over to our farming village. Now, I really like this main area here. It's got a bunch of houses and even a market area as well. But once you take the bridge over to the second area, it's a little bit lackluster. There's only 3 houses here. So to upgrade this village, I'm gonna add a few more houses in here, and I also think the entire village needs a wall surrounding it as well. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I did was of course just build a whole bunch of these standard house designs in this little area just to expand it a bit, because it is a little bit too small of an area in my opinion. And so with those new houses added in, I then started building a wall around this area consisting of stone and stone bricks, alternating between the two. And once that was done, I started adding in that same wall design across the bigger area as well. And with the walls done, I brought some villagers over to inhabit the newly upgraded village. And there we go, there's our fully upgraded farming village. It's looking super nice with the walls added on. This one is definitely a little bit oddly shaped, if you saw that. Yeah, I didn't really think of that. But yeah, we've got our villagers added in over there. They're already starting a nice little family. I'll eventually branch them off over into this village as well to fill this one up. But yeah, that just about does it for our farming village upgrades. Next up, it's time to upgrade the jungle village. Here it is. As you can see, it is pretty small. I didn't have a lot of time to work on this at the time. I'm still really happy with the way it turned out, but it could definitely be expanded quite a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna crack out the odd jungle wood and get started expanding this village. Alright, so for the first upgrade, we're headed over to the left side of the village to add a bunch more new platforms. I expanded to pretty much as many trees as I could over here, connecting them all up with bridges and ladders. I also added a bed, chests, crafting tables, and barrels to every platform too, to make it look like more of a house of sorts. That's the left side of the village done. Now let's head towards the right side and add a few more platforms in this area too. And now with all our expansions done, our treetop village is looking awesome. It almost looks like a treetop city now, which is pretty cool. Next up, it's onto something that's been bugging me for a long time now. I honestly don't really like using cobblestone in my builds, but I had to for this base as it was my starter base. I didn't have a lot of time and resources, but now I do. And it's time to fix it. let's get started. So my replacement blocks of choice for this wall ended up being some stone for the main wall, and then I capped it off with some stone brick slabs. I feel like it's a nice combination and looks way better and like a more established type of wall. After that was all done, I also finally filled in the rest of our farms here, and I also went around and fixed up all the patches made by who knows what. And there we go, just a quick little upgrade, but it makes the whole build look so much better. On to the next one. The way I've been repairing my tools is getting XP from selling melons to my farming villagers. Now I don't have to tell you that method kinda sucks. So let's upgrade by building an XP farm. So first I of course needed to find a spawner, so I flew into the giant cave and scoured the place. After a few minutes I found a spider spawner which I just could not be bothered dealing with. I then traveled into this mine shaft, found another spider spawner which I destroyed, and after a few minutes of some more exploring, I found this zombie spawner. Now with the spawner located, it was on to excavating a large area around it to improve the spawn rates. I then began excavating a second area and also dug up to the surface, which happened to be right next to the farmhouse. How lucky is that? Heading back down, I began construction on the zombie collection and slaughtering area with some hoppers and chests to collect the items. I also created the mechanism to bring the zombies from the spawner to the collection area, and then created the big tunnel the zombies will travel down, and after digging the wrong way, it was all done. I then built the glass tube to see the zombies going through the system and filled it with water. Then it was on to testing, and unfortunately I had made it one block too tall, and after lowering the whole thing, it was working perfectly. And to finish up down here, I just changed all the blocks to stone. Onto the exterior, I decided to upgrade it from a simple hole in the ground to this little hut design. I also made sure to connect our new hut up to the pathway as well. And here it is in action, working perfectly. I'm so glad I can now just easily come down here to repair my tools and armor. Hell yeah. Next up, the desert village from the previous episode. Now I already spent a week on this build, so there isn't really anything I could think of to upgrade, except the fact that I completely forgot to add villagers to it. So I flew to the farming village, picked out 2 candidates to start the new desert family, and carted them through the plains and the dense ass jungle all the way into our desert village. Now, of course they need food to breed, so let's quickly go get some carrots. And now I just remembered they also need beds, so yeah, let's go make some of those. And wow, I think I'm brain dead or something, they need houses too. And well, there's houses right here, so I just added a bunch of beds in those and fenced off a little neighborhood. And so I've just come back after giving them a bunch of time to breed, and yeah, here we go, we've got a whole bunch of villagers, and now I'm gonna set them free to roam in their new giant village here. Off you go, fellas, go explore, make some new friends, yeah. On to the next upgrade. The underwater village is among one of my most favorite builds I've created in this world, however it could definitely do with a little bit of expanding. Thankfully I have a heap of leftover resources from building this village, so let's expand it and add some other interesting things too. For the first build I created a submarine bay, a building high up on stilts that'd have enough clearance for a little submarine to dock underneath. Then it was on to creating said submarine. I wanted it to be floating in the water here as if it had just departed onto an ocean adventure. And now I just wanted to expand the village a bit more by adding some extra house designs. I already feel like this village is pretty large, so I kept the expansions on the smaller side. It's definitely not because I ran out of resources. I then added some more detail to the submarine bay because I felt it looked a little bit weird. I also built one more house to the left of the submarine bay to fill in this empty space. And finally I added in some pathways and also added some sand underneath the submarine bay too. And there we go, our underwater village is now looking way bigger and way better. On to the next upgrade. Okay, let's take a look at the map and see what we've upgraded so far. So we've done the desert village, jungle village, farming village. I'm gonna leave out the island upgrade because honestly I don't know what I'd upgrade, and I think it looks pretty good already. We've also upgraded the underwater village, built a creeper farm, and coming back to the main area, we've added in a pathway, upgraded the main village, farmhouse, and iron farm, and we also built an XP farm. So next, I think we should upgrade our main base here. Now I already have sort of upgraded this base in a previous episode where I built this secret underground base, but if we take a look upstairs, this bitch is empty. So let's fill it with shit. So first off, I headed to the left side and added in a big sprawling brewing area. I made sure to add heaps of barrels to this area for storage as well. Then in this area, I built a nether wart farm, so whenever I need them, they're right there. I also made this cute little thing with some chests and also added some lights around too. Then, heading over to the opposite side of the base, I wanted to make an indoor greenhouse of sorts, so I created a big table filled with pot plants and a bunch of grass blocks with various plants. I also added some of these houseplant designs around as well. And yeah, that's it for the upgrade to my main base here. I'm glad we've finally filled up this second floor, and it's looking amazing. On to the next one. The fishing village is one of my favorites. I love fishing dock builds, and turning one into a whole village is just awesome. But this one suffers the same problem as the others. It's not as big as I wanted it to be. So the first thing I did was expand by adding a whole extra row of houses behind the original ones. I added a couple L-shaped buildings and a bunch of smaller ones, as they're able to fit in some of these harder to build locations like up here on the hillside. To finish up the buildings, I added a big T-shaped one here as well. And then heading over to the dock, I added in this big crane design and filled the entire dock up with some nice decorations as well. Alright, and there we go, there's the finished fishing village. A little bit of expanding done, we've added a whole bunch of houses around here, and adding this little crane design as well just ties it all together, and we also added a whole bunch of details onto this dock, which was definitely needed. So yeah, fishing village now done, let's move on to the next upgrade. For the next upgrade, we need to head all the way over to our cherry village, which is a couple thousand blocks in this direction, so yeah, let's head over there right now. Oh my god, did you see that? Dude, I just realized my elytra is about to break. Oh my god, I thought I was gonna die then, and there was water. That was so lucky, dude. Holy crap. Well, yeah, that kind of sucks, but we're almost there, I think. I'm gonna have to figure out how to repair this, because I do not want to have to walk all the way back. I might just wait for nighttime and maybe slaughter a whole bunch of mobs or something, but yeah, that was very scary. So I'm probably just gonna walk the rest of the way to the village. And here we are at the cherry village. Once again, it's a bit on the small side, so let's add some more buildings, and I want to change a few other things too. So the first thing I did was flatten off some land here, and then I started adding in some more house designs. This area specifically definitely needed some houses, so I concentrated my efforts mostly here. Then heading a bit further up into the hillside, I found a nice spot to add a longer style of house. And I finished up at the far right of the village with a nice L-shaped building and a smaller house too. Now with all of our houses done, I decided to replace all of our coarse dirt and dirt path with some stone and stone bricks, as I felt it would look much better, which I definitely think it does. Alright, and that just about covers every single build in my world upgraded. Just as a reminder, every single build we upgraded this episode is available to download on my Patreon, so go check it out. Also, feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed this video as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.